Hello, my name is Lance Green, and in these unprecedented times that we are currently facing, I believe there's a message that I would like to share with friends and people that I don't know, and particularly focused at men in our society. This is the first day of the lockdown of New Zealand, something which we all know is unprecedented, something that none of us ever believed that we would face or even can imagine. And it's a time where all of us are under a lot of pressure. And particularly, I guess, I'm speaking to the men of New Zealand and maybe the men of the world as this video is shared. You, me, our friends, nobody is immune to this. The world as we knew it has come to a halt. And today, as I was doing a relief driver's job, which is very new for me, as I drove across the Auckland Harbour Bridge in a food delivery truck at 2 o'clock in the morning, it struck me. The surrealness of a city which is asleep, a city which has gone quiet, a road which I've driven over many times in the last 40 odd years. To drive the harbour bridge and there's not a car behind you or a vehicle in front of you brings home the reality, I think, of this situation. But what I really want to share with you today is the importance of talking and of communicating, and particularly, as I say, to the men. But it also applies, obviously, to your ladies as well. We will be tested, I guess. Our resilience will be tested. And what's important when we have this test, that we speak out. And the only way that I can share this story or share this advice is to tell a story, a sad story at that happened to our family. My brother was in business like myself. He was facing some challenges, maybe brought on by himself. That I don't think is really relevant. And whilst I was aware of the challenges, I didn't really inquire too much. I thought, well, we've been here before, he's had similar challenges. If he wants to talk to me, he will. And in my line of business, my line of business was that I travel out of New Zealand for up to 6-7 months a year over the winter with my work. And while I'm away, I do obviously keep in touch with family, and time to time I would talk to my brother. When I arrived back this particular year, Mum had let me know that, things had sort of got under real challenge with Floyd. So I contacted him and he said, "Oh, I'll be over, Junior. I'll be over to see you. We'll talk about it then." My brother was a big man. He was a powerful guy. He had an unbelievable work ethic. He would get up, the crack of dawn, he'd go all day. That endless energy that he always had. And when he walked up to see me, when he arrived over, he was half the man that I remember. I knew he'd had a couple of health issues, and I put it down to, well, you need to lose a bit of weight. What the heck? We sat down, we were having a chat about the challenges that he was facing with his business. And needless to say, with only him, it was a challenge. What was a molehill had become a mountain, and there'd be no need for that. Anyway, we went through things, and I said to him, just let me think about it. Maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe we can help. Maybe there's something we can do. I don't actually know how long. Maybe it was a week later. He was staying with Mum, and I thought, well, I've got a spare day, so I called him and I said, hey, listen, I need to get the boat, Dad's boat, back into storage, so we need to move some of your vehicles around, and let's have a bit of a tidy up if you've got nothing to do today. He came down and we spent the day. We tidied up things, moved things around, cleaned up, parked things away. We talked about a lot of things. Nothing in particular, but to me, nothing seemed unusual. He had some concerns. You could see that, but he was more interested in sharing some ideas as we drove about, as we moved things about. He went home. We saw each other, and I said, well, we'll catch up over the weekend. That was a Thursday. Saturday morning, I'd worked out how to help him solve the issues he was in. And I rang him. I got his answer phone. Didn't think anything of that because I thought, oh, well, he was talking about going up north, so maybe he's out of coverage. I rang Mum and she said, oh, he didn't come home last night. But that, again, wasn't unusual, so weren't too worried. By the end of Saturday, when I hadn't got hold of him, I was concerned. I thought, geez, I wonder what he's got up to. So by Saturday night, I said to Mum, come Sunday morning, if you haven't heard from him, then we need to report him missing. Which Mum finally did on the Sunday. Now, Sunday in New Zealand was a beautiful day. I was out on the land fixing up in my garden. And that morning, I need to go back, and that morning when I'd gone into my office, an old clock, a time clock, which was sitting at our Dad's workshop, had fallen down off the shelf. I don't know why it had broken. I didn't think I would put it back up. I thought I'll fix that at some point. Anyway, that afternoon I was out. It's probably about 4 o'clock, and it dawned on me, I thought, my brother's gone. I thought, my brother's gone. I just don't know where. On Monday morning, my wife and I went up. We went up to our business, our car wash business. And in that area, my brother had some vehicles stored. We'd cleaned up. And as I was sort of waiting for Lisa to finish off her part of the job, I thought, oh, I might just have a look and see if his vehicles are okay. It's not an area that I would normally go into. When the door went up, I saw this little car parked there. And I thought, well, he swapped vehicles. He's not in the car that I thought he was in. When I approached the car, I found my brother. He had departed. He had chosen to leave. He had chosen to leave at his own time. I'd wish it on nobody. To find their brother, their sister, their mother, or their father has taken their life. It's an image you'll never get rid of. And I know that. But from everything, you learn something. It was 3 years ago, over 3 years ago now, that he went. That day is still as raw as it ever was. What we're facing now, men of the world, is challenges that are all very similar. Businesses will suffer. Our jobs will be lost. Well, some jobs will be lost. Financial strain will come. That's for sure. And with that, health will suffer. Something else that happens with these things. And sadly, some of us may choose that it's all too much. That is the reality of it. But reality can change. That I believe. For men, a wise person that I knew, who passed many years ago but left his mark in this world, left a mark that, an advice that can be so applicable today. 3 things that men require. It's their family and their relationship. Their jobs, their finance, their security. And they need their health. He always said, if you lose one, the other 2 will support you. Lose 2, it becomes a challenge. Lose 3, and that's very, very hard. What we have to do in situations like we're in now and challenges that we all face is we need to talk. We need to share. We need to speak out. And me and I encourage you, talk to your mate. Talk to a stranger. Don't keep it bottled up. Because when you bottle it up and you keep it inside and you don't express how you feel, then in reality, the darkness will creep in. The voices will be there. And what seems like a massive mountain will just encompass you. As I say, sadly, some of us may choose to depart, take our lives. And speaking from experience, understand this, that if you're in that path, when you leave in that manner, the damage and the hurt, the unanswered questions remain with those that you leave behind. I've seen it with my mum, an incredibly strong woman, strong in her Christian beliefs, resilient. but she just can't understand. And I can't give her the answers as to why, really why, and why my brother didn't speak out. 6 months on, I was away working, looking after my guests in Lucca, Italy. I was attending with them at the Lucca Summer Festival, a concert with Rag and Bone Man. Powerful singer, powerful presence on stage. He started with this song, Skin. And out of nowhere, I got this overwhelming feeling. Tears flowed down my eyes. As the words were sung, all that came was my brother and the sadness of it all. But in amongst this moment in time, words were shared with me which I wrote down on my phone. And as much as I've had ideas to get someone to put it to music, and I reached out to a young man who worked with me last year, who's a really top Kiwi guy, top bloke, and he's a musician as well. I said to Dave, I sent it off to him. He wasn't aware that my brother had taken his life. And I told him part of the story. And I said, look, I want to get these words put to music. Dave came back to me a couple of weeks ago, interesting enough, at the start of this whole coronavirus situation that the world's facing. And he said, I've shared it with a number of people. They said, it's such a personal thing. You need to do it. You need to do it. Maybe you do it as a poem. And I think he's right. Words are given to you. Words are provided, and there's a time and a place to share them. And I'd like to share them today. And maybe, just maybe, these words will provide some hope, maybe some direction, maybe something for you to think about. The last time I read these words was when I spread my brother's ashes at the place that he wanted to be, with a view of the ocean at the end of Clarence Airport on Great Barrier Island, on the tallest sand dune that there was. Call out, my brother. Call out, my friend. Don't let the voices in your mind lead you down a path of despair. Call out. Reach out. I am here. Call out. Reach out. My brother, you walked a lonely road. You were my brother. You are my brother. And always will be. You should have called out. I should have listened. I should have heard. I should have known. Call out, my brother. Call out, my friend. Don't let the voices in your mind lead you down a path of despair. Call out. Reach out. I am here. call out, reach out. You look around, we put on a front. We smile, we joke. We have a front for others to see, yet the voices haunt our mind. Call out, my brother. Call out, my friend. Chitter chatter. Do this, do that. Come here, go there. Start this, start that. The voice in our mind just calls out. Time to stop. Leave me alone. Leave my mind. Let me be. Call out, my brother. Call out, my friend. Don't let the voices in your mind lead you down a path of despair. Call out. Reach out. I am here. Call out. Reach out. I was too deaf, my brother. I did not hear. I was blind. I did not see. Your smile, your manner had not changed. While the signs were there, I did not see. I did not hear. You did not call out, my brother. You did not call out. Why? To my brothers, to the men of the world, talk to a mate. Talk to a friend. Talk to a stranger. Visit your local church. Don't hold it in. These are challenging times. We'll be through them, that's for sure. And we'll be wiser for it. All I ask is don't give up hope. Just call out.